So I actually want to talk about intuition today and trusting your gut and using this as a form of decision making that I think is very important, and it's probably not what you've heard, and hopefully this is going to be a lot different than what you think about in terms of decision making. And I want to actually talk to you, first of all, kind of a rational choice decision making framework, and then get into intuition that I think is really important. So first of all, I actually want to give a shout out to the intuition scholar, the person I actually know that's doing research in this area. At least he was for a long time, Sunil Godse. You can check out what he's written, some books and stuff like that on intuition. I don't really know that much. I'm just kind of shooting off the cuff here. So the rational choice model, what is that? Oh, so by the way, if you don't know me, I'm Professor Dave Masek. I'm Associate Professor of Innovation Strategy and Entrepreneurship. And I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There's so many people that help me out that I want to pay the favor forward to help you out. So in my life, whenever I've run into something that has gone on and I feel like I should do something, it is normally some sort of intuition that I get, or I get this sort of spidey sense that you get, that you have to act in a certain way, and you think that there's something going on. Or maybe you're in a relationship and you have this sort of spidey sense that there's something just not quite right. Or that you are, interacting with certain people and you get the sense that there's something not quite right. Or you think that there's something that you should be doing in this particular direction. You don't know why you should be doing that, but you just have this sort of intuition towards doing that particular thing. And I think this is a really important thing to sort of jump on that and just know that that intuition is actually probably correct. And it's taken me so many years for me to figure this out that, and in fact, it's only probably been the last 5 years of my life that I really started to take this seriously and realize that that intuition is an important sense that I should be addressing that thing, or that thing is actually really real. So in the rational choice model, what we normally think of is we make these sort of decisions where we have these alternatives that are very explicit. We know what those alternatives are, and then we put some sort of outcome in, and then we weight what the outcome is of those alternatives. We think, in terms of, we try to create some sort of probability of what those outcomes are going to be, and then we choose the thing that has the best expected outcome based on basically just multiplying the probability of something happening versus the outcome that you're actually going to get. Now, in reality, we don't have that. That is not the way that most decisions are made. That's probably the best way that you can make decisions, but I would probably argue maybe not. Because there is a lot of circumstances where you just don't know what you should be doing, and that you should probably just execute on that. I think it's a model. The rational choice model is a model of making decisions, but I don't think that's the way we actually make decisions in reality. I think most of us actually don't have the alternatives at hand, and most of us have sort of fuzzy understanding of what the outcomes are going to be, and we have no idea what the probabilities of these things are going to be, and when is something is going to happen or not. So that's the first thing I want to think about in terms of intuition, why I think it's actually really important. You haven't got a fuzzy clue what the alternative actually is. You never know what is right or wrong. So you don't know what the counterfactual is in your life, right? So that's actually what I want to point out. So if you do something, you have no idea what would have happened had you not done that thing, or what would have happened had you actually done that thing. You have no idea, and your life is just kind of going through the motions. You have this sort of trajectory where you're doing things. You don't really have an alternative self, an alternative person. This notion that we have, better choices than the choice that we actually make is a bit of a fallacy. It's actually a statistical anomaly, or something that we've made up years and years and years ago, where we're thinking about, these different choices and stuff, and the probability that we have in this world where we have this counterfactual. And it takes an enormous amount of statistical understanding and knowledge to get these counterfactuals. That's what science is all about, to get these these counterfactuals. And in fact, what you're actually probably picking up, it's not whether the thing is actually right or wrong. It's actually, you just have a lot of self-doubt, and you're thinking, oh man, I should have done that, or I should have done this. And And really, it's not really picking up on anything other than that self-doubt. So that's why I think intuition is actually really powerful, and you just run with it rather than sort of trying to doubt yourself, is because that is the only choice that you actually often have, and you just go with that choice. The other thing, and I think a lot of the sort of intuition scholars would point this out, Sunil, I apologize, I actually haven't read his work, but I kind of understand that sort of understanding of this. And then there's also somebody else that has really done a lot of work in this area, is Gerd Gigeranzer, who's kind of like a psychologist, economist. And, it's all about this gut feelings that we have. And the gut feeling is kind of somewhat rational in what we have, because it is based on years and years of experience, that we have so much experience that we just don't observe. And that gives us, that spidey sense of what we're doing. And in a lot of things, a lot of processing that we have is, I think they call it type 2 processing. That's what Daniel Kahneman would have pointed out, where you kind of just don't know what is going on. It's not really sort of rational. It's kind of subconscious. And we actually do those kind of things, and we just kind of execute on those things that we know. And that intuition is probably somewhat rational. I don't know if that's true or not true. I think that there is some truth to that in terms of, I think that there is strong evidence that is true. However, it's kind of hard to put your finger on. It's like kind of like God, right? It's hard to put your finger on that particular construct or that idea. But I do know that, executing on this thing, again, we don't know what the alternative ever was. And we don't know what the counterfactual ever was. We sort of have this make-believe of what the alternative is, but we never really know what it is. So the other thing I want to point out is, life is a lot about screwing up. And life is about making mistakes. And it really often does not matter anyways. You're probably really thinking about this particular thing. And if there is some sort of intuition, there's something that's going on in your life where you're getting spidey senses about this thing, chances are those spidey senses, it does not freaking matter in the end. And you should just screw it. It's really not that important for you to worry about and ponder about that. And if you just simply execute and you live your life and you just do the good things, then all of it's going to kind of come to an end anyways, and it's going to sort of sort out. So screw worrying about that particular thing and actually just do something and actually just execute on that particular thing. Now, because what I want to point out is that it consumes a lot of worry, it consumes a lot of resources, it consumes just a lot of your energy to worry about something that really probably does not matter in the end. And you're better just kind of executing and doing something rather than just worrying about this. Am I perfect? Is this the right thing? I don't know what to do. And just do it. And the last thing I want to point out is you need to communicate that you actually have some positive, good intent in this world. And you, as long as you're communicating that this is in good intent, you're not being an ass, a giant ass at the end of the day. And I apologize for that word, but it really that's what it is. You're doing something because you're not being an ass, but you're actually doing something because this is right. You're being nice. You're helping out other people, which, it's striking in this day and age. I am baffled in the last few years how many people that they don't do things because they're trying to be nice and help people out, but they're just being a giant ass. If your intent is good, people are going to see that. And they're going to recognize if you made a mistake or it was the wrong decision. They're going to hopefully give you a little bit of grace for doing that. And that's where it comes in, where you just have to communicate that you actually are a genuinely nice human being and that you care for other people and you're actually trying to help them out. And if that did not work out, did not work out for you or it did not work out for them, you gave somebody some great advice and they went and did something wrong and they were being mad at you, the onus is on them. It's not on you. You are actually doing the right thing and you're doing a good thing in this world. And you are actually being a really nice human being. But if they get angry and they get, all this kind of emotion at you, it's them. They're dealing with a lot of shit. Sorry, again, bad language. I apologize. But they're dealing with a lot of stuff. And it's not them, it's not you that is processing this and dealing with this poorly. It's them. So never ever, I think it's just really important to just trust your gut and use that intuition and not really worry about it in the end. There's just so much more in this world that you could be doing and worrying about and just having a good life rather than worrying about and whether you're doing something right or wrong. So with that, give me a thumbs up, do subscribe to the YouTube channel, take care, and have a wonderful day. Bye.